Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video about bacteria, and I hope you have a newfound definition or understanding of what bacteria actually is. Remember to keep that definition in mind as we go through our story, Alexander Fleming, the scientist. Let's dive straight in. It is the lone worker who makes the first advance in a subject. Chances are you've had an ear infection or other illness that the doctor treated by giving you an antibiotic. Chemicals that can kill or stop the growth of a disease causing microbe, a germ. But until the 1940s, antibiotics did not exist. It is thanks to Alexander Fleming and his messy laboratory that doctors now have drugs that can kill bacteria that make people sick. So before you guys move on, make sure that you take notes. What is this slide about? And also write down those unknown words somewhere because we're going to come back to those in a minute. You guys have a question up next. So make sure you have those good notes and let's go ahead and dive in. All right, welcome back, guys. Make sure you're listening. We are back into the story. Fleming, who was born in Scotland in 1881, specialized in bacteriology. In 1928, upon returning to his lab after a family vacation, he was sorting through some projects on which he had been working. Fleming's lab was often messy, as he was always involved in many research experiments. Just before tossing a petri dish that he had been using to grow bacteria into cleaning solution, he noticed that mold was growing in the dish and that the staph bacteria all around the mold had been destroyed. Fleming took a sample of the mold and found it belonged to the Penicillium family. All right, guys, before we move on, go ahead and kind of summarize what's going on here. Take a minute to read it again if this was a bit confusing. And make sure you guys also write down those unknown words. We have a question up next. You guys are going to do great. Let's go ahead and dive in. All right, welcome back, guys. I hope you guys did a great job on that question. This is our last slide of today. So we had a very short read aloud story this week. But as you're listening, of course, on this last slide, make sure you're taking notes, writing down the words you don't know, and let's go ahead and dive in. Fleming's discovery led to the development of penicillin, antibiotics derived from the Penicillium fungi. They are still used today to cure infections. For his work, he was knighted in 1944 and received a Nobel Peace Prize in 1945. As Fleming himself said, one sometimes finds what one is not looking for. A petri dish is also a shallow glass or plastic cylindrical dish with a lid that biologists use to cultivate cells. One thing I want to point out, guys, is think about how many discoveries we've read about in the past 3 weeks that happened on accident, right? Think about the caves, think about Machu Picchu, and think about the soldiers that were also found in the ground in China that we read about as well. So there are so many different discoveries that happen on accident. Before you guys close out of this, make sure that you guys take notes, write down the words you don't know. You have one more question up next. And thank you guys for listening to this week's Read Aloud.